Alright, guys. We got GUMIHO on the top right side of the map. It's Kung Fu Cup Monthly number 3. Reynor in the bottom left side. Zerg versus Terran. We haven't seen too much of GUMIHO lately, and I can't wait to see what he's got in store for us. We're going to be playing on Tourmaline, a map which is a little cramped for Zerg, I will say. Especially if the Zerg tries to take this base. Something I've learned the hard way. Don't take this base unless you're a mad lad. It's really hard to defend. I think if you play Roach Ravager, it's okay. But Lingbane, this base, really hard to defend because the Terran will, of course, take this as their fourth. And then they're just pushing through a site blocker, a ridge, another ridge. All things which Zerg units don't like and Terran units do like, because Terran units have guns that can shoot up and down cliffs. They tend to have much longer range. Oh, people were recommending me games from Kung Fu Cup. Oh, right, I forgot. This Kung Fu Cup is played over 4 days, by the way, guys, I believe. So I forgot they hadn't finished it. So it was actually this same cup that I've already... Okay, now I know. I was looking for a new Kung Fu Cup. Apparently Classic and Hero had a banger that I've got to watch. Okay. I normally... Yeah, I don't cast as many mirror matchups. But if you guys promise me it's a banger, and I feel like Hero turns PvP into such a chaotic matchup, that does sound very fun. Yeah, well, I think what's most exciting is when the game gets really messy, it's very hard to read. It's how do players adapt in those situations. I'm with you guys. And this is a gas first build, guys. Notice there was a bit of time there with no SAV building. That's just natural with a gas first build because your barracks is slightly later and you can't start the orbital until the barracks is done. Command center goes down, no scout. Very greedy. If you get hit by a pool first opening, you can end up in a lot of trouble. You can counteract that by keeping the Reaper at home. We'll see if GUMIHO takes that safety precaution. For now, it looks like a hatch gas pool, so of course, we know that there's no risk of Reynor hitting him with an early pool. He doesn't know that just yet, though. We'll see what he does with the Reaper. Second gas immediately. I think GUMIHO is going to go for very quick factory into quick starport. Will it be a fast Liberator? Will he be going for a weird Hellbat Marauder? More likely quick Banshee is what you usually see off of this. You need a lot of damage off this build order because GUMIHO is, of course, committing way more than players normally do. Single Zergan comes out, runs into the Reaper. Reaper happy to take the free kill, but it does lure it away from these drones, which means no spores will have to be built or anything like that. The Queen's going to pop out and defend it. Good pull away on that drone. Nicely done. And will we see instant inject? Reynor is one of the few guys who does still sometimes go Creep Tumor first. I think it's a very good build order. Just underutilized these days. Especially because the Queens are more expensive. Players are wanting to get their drones up as fast as possible. We've got a guy who hates PvP in the chat. He says, yeah, PvP is amazing. I love it, guys. Or like when I'm watching it, and I love when the commentator's like, wow, Hero has 6 Blink Stalkers. But wait, Classic has 7. 7 is more than 6. Hero just warped in 2 more Stalkers. Now he has more Stalkers. Wow! That is, I do appreciate, that is what most, I imagine that's what most Platinum League Terran and Zerg players think when they're watching PvP. I appreciate it. Not my favorite version of PvP either. Both players taking a third and just making Blink Stalkers. I like the proxies. I like the all-ins. I like the weird rushes. You know, the Oracle openings and the proxy robos and how the players try to guess what the other players do. I like the mind games early on in PvP personally, guys, but luckily this is a ZVT. This one's a crowd pleaser of a matchup. We don't have to deal with that level of ugh I know some of you feel towards mirror matchups. Oh, that Ling positioning was amazing. Did you guys see that Ling surround? His Ling speed wasn't ready, but he spread them in this beautiful arc, completely shuts down the Hellion dive. I mean, at the end of that, what does he get? Oh, can he get this Hellion? No, good micro for me. But 3 Hellions and a Reaper for 10 Zergings. Excellent trade for Zerg. Shuts down that momentum. And the fact that he built that many extra Lings that early in the game, a testament to Reynor recognizing this is a gas first. You're going to be more aggressive. But he hasn't started spores yet. And usually you want to build a spore on the third at 420 and your other spores at 430 against these gas first builds. Some people will even build it earlier than that. He's building it in the main, but not the third. This is a huge problem. This Banshee could ruin a lot of work as he started it now. Cloak is almost ready. Queens should go forward. They might be able to scare that Banshee away a little bit. Reynor doesn't move forward until now. And Cloak is ready, but GUMIHO, he's got to go in right now. You got to go. Can't be wasting time, mate. Straight to that mineral line. He sees the Spore Crawler's not done. He's got about 3 seconds in here. He's going to get 2 drones. Well, Spore Crawler's done in the main. Gas will be exposed, though. Even just forcing Reynor to pull off gas here is quite annoying for the Zerg. Someone was asking me earlier, why don't pros press return cargo there? They're just busy. You should do that and return that 12 gas, But as you can see, he's got more important fish to fry. And these fish, they thought they would be doing the frying, but they're in fact getting wrecked by these Zerglings. This is a great start for Reynor, guys. It's an excellent adaptation. Gas first openings are so rare these days. I see a lot of top Zergs just be a bit too slow on the Zerglings. The first Hellion run by kills 6-7 drones, and the game starts to snowball. The Banshee gets in there, Spore's not ready, and it really gets out of control. This is not the case here. This was a really great adjustment by Reynor. Now, GUMIHO, third command center is almost done. He's starting his second and third barracks. Actually, no, sorry, second and third factory. Oh, under the Overlord, though. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And his Marine, does he just not have a Marine? No Marine. Oh, Reynor is all over this game. Guys, Reynor is showing us how to react by building extra lings early as possible to stop the 4 Hellion run by, which comes about 30, 40 seconds early. I mean, about, what, 30 seconds earlier when you go gas first compared to a normal 3cc build? So you get your lings early, you get your spores earlier. The spores are normally about 445, 450 if you're playing against a 3 command center Banshee build. And then you scout with a Mech and you go straight into double up. I mean, he's going double upgrade roaches. You don't need to go double upgrades because he'd already gone for the 2 evos before he scouted it. He says, might as well. Oh, and he's just always got enough lings. GUMIHO keeps thinking, you think I'm done with the Hellion run bys, you're not going to commit anymore. But Reynor just always has enough units. Now, he doesn't want to rebuild lings at this point. You want to go into roaches, units that are going to have longevity against the Blue Flame Hellions later on. But this has just been so well played by Reynor. He has taken the 4th in the middle. I was telling you guys, don't take this 4th. But he's playing Roach against Mech. It's not Lingbane against Bio, where that middle 4th is a disaster. Ling's going to get in. Mules and SCVs try to hide. Good pull away by Reynor. Because those units could hide in that pocket, and then your lings would stack up and get roasted instantly. Ooh, a few more lings going down. He's got to get out of here. Banshees will pick off a gas. It's an important gas as well. So we do want to see a fast hive. Now, Vipers are one of those units that used to be like a go-to, is if you got a fast hive, you were ahead against Mech, just go for hive, get 4 Vipers, abduct all the siege tanks, rinse and repeat, and the Terran's kind of screwed. You can't do that anymore. I mean, you can, but you can use Blinding Clouds. Not as good as abducts in that... I mean, they can be better even. They're not as reliable. You can still abduct Cyclones and Banshees, you can Parasitic Bomb, but Hive in of itself is not as much of an amazing thing as it used to be now that tanks can no longer be abducted. Transformation servos coming in. GUMIHO, you're such a troll, dude. What is that for? Is that so his Hellbats can transform faster? Swarmos! Oh, we are going to see the old school Swarmos for Reynor. Swarmos are really good against Trad Mech, guys. Trad Mech, traditional Mech is Hellbats, tanks, Thors. Battle Mech involves more of a Banshee, Hellion, Cyclone style, very mobile units. And in this case, there is a few Banshees out, right? There's like 4. And he's got Blue Flame and Magfield on the way. So even though he doesn't have Cyclones right now, once he sees the Swarmos, GUMIHO could try to get out Cyclones and control the map. That's 15! 15 Swarmos, you mad lad. Reynor's crazy. Now, he's going to have to go Baneling Nest because Swarmos are 3 supply each. And of course, they can only fire the Locusts once every 40 seconds, which means there's a lot of downtime where they're not able to fight. Banelings are going to cover you against that weakness. Your supply inefficiency will be made up for with that. He's already got a beautiful creep schlong in the middle of the map. He's also got a second one in the south. And the fact this map is kind of small means the Swarmos don't even need a Nidus. You can just run forward, throw Locusts in. It's going to be really hard to defend. Now, when you throw your Locusts, you want to control-click the Locusts when they launch. You want to fly them past the enemy, because if you just let them just land on the first thing, they'll all clump up on this missile turret. The tanks and Hellbats will kill them. They'll do very little damage. But if you fly past and you tell a few to land on this tank, a few on that tank, a few in the mineral line, you can get some amazing payoff here. Locust coming in. Where's he going to land? Where's, on the tanks, on the tanks, on the tanks. The Hellbat's a bit too far forward. The tanks, a lot of them go down. That was like 3 or 4 tanks fell down. Roach Ravager does come forward. He's going to have to fall back. Look at this, though. He's dropping creep here with the Overlord, putting creep tumors on it. Queens, are they going to be able to defend? It's a lot of Banshees. The Ravagers, though, dropping Biles. One of them lands on a Banshee, hopefully holding back this force as well. The Queens may need to fall back a little bit here. Swarmos taking a fair bit of damage. One of those Swarmos does go down. But, of course, forcing these trades out here, this is a perfect time for Reynor to fight. And GUMIHO wants to push these Swarmos away. But if he doesn't have the numbers to deal with the Roach Ravager Queen, it's not going to work out for him. Now, the Overseers did get cleared by the Vikings, which means he's got to make 5 more Overseers, 7 more Overlords right now for Reynor. I'd love to see those Swarmos rotate up the north side away from the Queen Roach Ravager, but he's kind of keeping them all in one clump right now, and that means he's losing Swarmos time. There should be Locusts fighting right now. Queen's getting overrun is actually a really nice move for GUMIHO, but there's still 9 queens up. And as these new overseers do arrive, he's going to be able to go forward for another wave. I think he lost 2 swarm host units last time, though. Pretty even between the two. GUMIHO desperately trying to get a 4th base and max out. He's got double armory, but he's only got +1 plating. He doesn't have any attack upgrades yet. +2 plating starts, +1 vehicle weapons. Zerg's already on 1-1, soon to be 2-1. The Locust, once again, you can see they are going to fly past. He's spreading them out on the tanks. I love that. He does land maybe a few too many Locusts on the 1 siege tank. If he landed some back there, it would have been absolutely perfect. Good Biles, though. Takes out a few tanks, damages the Thor, clears the Hellbats. Planetary does force him back. I'd love to see Reynor now rotate south, come in through the next wave on this base. You know, really keep working different angles. Already, he's using the low ground there. Cancels that refinery, and you can see that Baneling nest we were talking about, because often your last 20 supply, you want to be pure Baneling. The reason being, like I said, your supply inefficient. You got a lot of supply in these queens. That's 18 supply, 45 supply of swarm hosts. Those units aren't going to be very useful in a direct fight. So if the Terran does push or tries to get you off this central position, rolling Banes in, clearing all the Hellbats instantly is the secret to controlling the middle of the map. Banshee's going to go around that right side. Locust just going to go for the planetary. Oh my gosh! Oh, and those tanks are clumped! 3 tanks going down to the Biles. I think Reynor can just A-move it at this point. The Banshees are going to try to come back to hold on, but Reynor just too far ahead. He shut down the early aggression, shut down the Banshees right afterwards. He scouted the Mech immediately. I mean, this was just a textbook game for Reynor. And I think this is a pretty good map for Terran. But I don't think we got to see it necessarily because Reynor just had such a good start, and I think he's moments away from finishing this game. GUMIHO barely gets a new 4th. I mean, his supply is not too bad. Could he actually maybe drag this out and get back to max? Maybe. I think trad mac is when tanks film TikTok videos themselves in cute dresses making casseroles. Trad wife? Yeah. Well, this is the trad wife of Goody, our favorite old German pro gamer. Tanks, Thors, and Hellbats. But when you are outnumbered 2-1 and there's free units getting thrown in your face, it's not that much fun. I was thinking more, you know, maybe like, I don't know, like traditional climbing or something, as opposed to bouldering or something. I don't know. But we'll see how we go. Reynor crushes game 1. That was a perfect early game, and he just carried it forward from there. All right, guys. GUMIHO in the top left side of the map, Reynor in the bottom right. That was an excellent, picture-perfect game 1. We're on to Winter Madness. This is another map which I think is pretty good for Terran, personally. It's not like crazy, but the thing that happens, right, is so okay, let's go to Reynor's side, because that's what we're talking about. He takes the natural here. You take the 3rd over here. But if this 3rd gets blocked, you're kind of screwed, because where else do you take your 3rd? All the way out here, with choke points leading into it. Choke point to a ledge there. It's a really awkward base. So ideally as a Zerg, you get this 3rd, then you go up here to take this 4th, but then eventually you do need to secure this 5th here. And I think when you take this 5th, you almost want to rush a 6th base in the top right corner, because Terran's going to love taking a 3rd here, taking a 4th here, pushing down this left side. And I think having the option to just give this base up and mine the top right corner actually is necessary in a tight game where maybe you're a little behind as the Zerg. I think it's going to be very rare that a Zerg does that. I think you're going to see a lot of Zerg players die trying to defend this base, fighting around this area, this whole area. It's a Terran dream, man. All right. No scout again. This time it is a barracks gas, but no scout. Reynor not going early pool, not able to punish GUMIHO. Reynor does like to mix in those early pools and stuff, especially when he's playing a Clem or a Maru, one of these Terrans that Reynor really respects and fears. He'll mix in a few more all-ins, but I think he feels pretty favored against GUMIHO and doesn't feel the pressure to do that. He's going to build a depot over here. He's like, oh, is he going to do the reactor wall? Oh, I hate the reactor wall off. How do you guys feel about the reactor wall off? People like this because then, like, I guess the Baneling, it's like not as vulnerable to like busts and stuff, having depot, reactor, depot. I don't know. I think this one's not as bad, but there's other maps where it just feels like it makes it harder to move around your base. I like to have both avenues. Like, you can move through both sides, which you can't with the reactor. It just makes it a bit harder to move in and out of your base, especially in like TVT. If someone's dropping up here, I want to be able to stream around both sides of the barracks. That's just me and my OCD, though. Reaper's going to come in. There are 4 Zerglings. Drone gonna pull back. Zerglings, of course, bounced by the first grenade. I think GUMIHO should probably chill. Yeah, 1 Zergling is all you're gonna get here. That's alright. The Bane Bust still applies because the reactor is still there. LOL says chat. Yeah, but I mean, at least it's 1 less building. Whereas if you do it the other way, they get 2 depots in a reactor for the Bane Bust. This way, it's 1 depot in a reactor for the Bane Bust, you know? So it's like, and also they would need to detonate in the middle, which means clicking on the barracks, and then they might accidentally detonate 1 or 2 more Banelings, or they have to manually detonate. Also, they might accidentally detonate 1 or 2 more Banelings, but yeah, I much prefer the 2 depots in the reactor. I don't know, just feels better to me, but to each his own. 3rd command center into starport and 2nd gas. Reactor is a little bit slow here because he's gone 2 Marines, and that's why cheeky boy GUMIHO gonna get himself an Overlord. He's like, yeah, how do you like that, mate? Reynor has the spiky Overlord skin on, by the way. Lots of spikes on that. What skin is that? That is a skin, right? I don't think that's a standard Overlord, is it? I don't think so. A few little pointy bits. For the most part, Reynor's playing generic, though. I think is this the StarCraft 1 hatchery skin, guys? Or no, it's not, is it? No, that one's much more like pale. Yeah. No simulant Zerg or anything. Who knows, maybe they have rules for this tournament. No skins or something. These units all look pretty standard. Alien Reaper coming south. Oh! Not watching. Ah, he does get the Spore in time, actually. Let's see, 2 Aliens and a Reaper, not enough there. Oh, Reynor, he's doing a pretty good Ling run by. This is like 12 Lings. 12 Lings, a very good run by. There is a Viking coming out. It could help land in the mineral line, maybe help defend. GUMIHO raises the depot. He's going to run the SCVs. Viking will land, as I said. 2 Hellions about to pop out. The rest of them will come home. Oh, this is actually a pretty good catch for GUMIHO. Viking's going to defend in the natural. Hellions clean up most of the Zerglings. I think he only lost 1 SCV for 12 Lings. I mean, it does still pull him home. Not the worst move. But now a Roach Warren goes down, and it does feel like Reynor is on the back foot. 2nd factory goes down, and a 3rd one. GUMIHO does not care that he is playing Mech. It seems like he's decided Mech is my style. I'm playing Mech. We're going to make it work. Hellions running in. Ling's out of position. He's only got 10 Lings and 6 Queens. No Evo Chamber going down. GUMIHO fighting back with a vengeance in game 2, but he stops to fight the Queen. What's he doing now? The Extractor. He got distracted. He went home to macro or something. Subpar micro there for GUMIHO. He's going to need to play better than that if he wants to take down Reynor. That was not well executed. 2 more Hellions come in to attack the Queens as well. Really sloppy control. That was sloppy control. I got to call it as I see it. Sloppy control there for GUMIHO. He did get 3 kills, 2 Zerglings, now 1 Overlord with this Viking. He's going to go looking for more, but I think he could have got way more damage there. Lair is almost finished. 2 more factories on the way as well as an armory. Queen, of course, does shoo the Viking away. Lair is almost finished. Double Evo on the natural. So what is this? 1 gas, 2 gas. No gas is on the 3rd. And the Viking's going to be pulling away. So 5 factory, 3 CC. Should be floating this 3rd out now because you see the natural saturated. Yep. Only single armory. Do you guys think he goes armor again? I feel like attack is usually more important, but he's actually building a few Cyclones first this time. And obviously with Cyclone, Hellion armor tends to be the more important upgrade. Magfield already starting. Give those Cyclones some bonus. Hellions finding Zerglings out on that left side. 63 drones for Reynor, 53 for GUMIHO. 4th base just now starting. We do see a quick infestation pit. Of course, +1 range as well. I like that he's not using the 2nd Evo. Carapace is just not that important against Mech. It doesn't help against Magfield. Barely helps against siege tanks because they do so much damage. I would love to see Roach Speed, because if that gets forgotten, that's one that really ruins your day against the Mech. It is indeed armor for Terran. Magfield as well. He's got a Raven building. I think that's mostly so he doesn't have to scan to kill creep. Will allow him to build a lot more Hellions, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a 4th command center go down in the near future. 2 reactors, 3 tech labs. Big pack of Cyclone Alien. Remember, Cyclones don't lock on as fast as they used to. He should be swapping to tanks right now. Last time Reynor lost to GUMIHO's Mech, it was GSL last year, and he basically could have killed him on Persephone. He just didn't attack. He had like a 60, 70 supply lead. He got pulled back by like a small Hellion run by and kind of just screwed around, maxed out on roaches. He let GUMIHO catch up in supply, and then he got destroyed. I think Reynor probably learned his lesson from those games. You know, he really You want to, against these mech styles, usually hit them somewhere at this build-up phase before a whole bunch of tanks get out. But GUMIHO appears to be playing a full battle mech style. No tanks in reserve is very dangerous. Because if those roaches sneak around and hit your base, you don't have any tanks on the high ground or behind the natural wall. If not, you want like a tank here, tank up there, tank there, that sort of thing. Or you get a few tanks in this central area behind that 4th command center. Or could be good. Infestors are on the way for Reynor. He's got 8 gases coming in. Reynor has some of the best Ravager Ling Micro against Mech in the world. He's also pretty good at those fungal ambushes. If he catches the Cyclone Hellion with the fungal, it won't be able to retreat. And Cyclone Hellion, I always give the analogy, it's a really long-range, tall, skinny fighter. They can punch you from much further away. They've got a 5-inch, 6-inch reach advantage. You're a short, stocky guy. It feels as the Zerg like it's just unfair. This guy can hit you without even getting close to you. Every time you try to close distance, he just jabs you, pulls back. It just feels ridiculously unfair. And then the moment you actually close the distance and you I don't know, maybe you take him down or you just manage to get in close, suddenly you realize that, hey, this guy, yeah, he's very tall. He's got long range. He's way skinnier than you. He doesn't have the same power. And the Cyclone Hellion will crumble the moment you actually manage to hold it still and make it fight. The moment it can't back away from you and just keep you at the edge of its range, it falls apart. And that's where either a big Ling surround, fungal landing, and the roaches jumping on top, any of that stuff could be huge. The Raven's also really good because it means you can't sneak a burrowed infestor out without the Raven spotting it. Thank you, Houdini, for the sub. Really appreciate your support, mate. 5 more infestors. You going 9 infestors, guys? Guys, 9? 9 infestors. Okay. Reynor, are we drunk, mate? That's crazy. 9? Man wants to have enough fungal for days, so he can whiff a ton of them and still have heaps left over. And then I guess he wants to go neural later as well, which is really good for the tanks. Hellion, Cyclone, Raven on this side. The tank transition is starting at home. Lots of tanks coming in. 4th base is up. He's building an orbital on that 4th so he can lift it off and pull it back. He doesn't want to overcommit and throw his army away. And this feels really awkward as Reynor. He's only on 4 bases. He's going neural. He's got a hive now, but no Great Aspire or anything like that. Tanks are starting to come forward. There's only 4 tanks on the map. 3 of them are here. Careful, careful, careful. Uh-oh. Okay, great fungal. 6 Cyclones and a couple of Hellions will get cleaned up. Tanks are taking a good position. I'm surprised GUMIHO's not splitting his army a little bit more here. He's going to try and go forward. There's so many infestors. The Baneling count's really good as well. You don't want your Hellion Cyclone to get hit by those. Another fungal does whiff. Queen gets picked off as well. The tanks are amazing, though. I feel like you don't want to be dealing with this army with so many tanks layered behind it. The Viking's going to give spotting on the other side, which is huge. Oh, he blocks it so Lings can't run through. That's really clever. That's really awkward because as the Zerg, if you try to click over there, your units will know that this counts as a building and it'll block them and they'll try to run around. And so if you don't know that tank is siege there, this actually messes up your pathing as a Zerg player. That's so clever for GUMIHO. Actually on the left, working on the 5th base, slowly damaging it. Queens will go over there to defend it eventually. Dude, if the Banelings hit these Hellbats, that's huge. GUMIHO needs to pull back and spread. This is a really bad formation for GUMIHO. Very vulnerable. He needs to spread those. He's got 21 Hellbats, but they're really clumped. They're very exposed for the Banelings. He's trying to move this tank in deep. Can he get that tank in a good position? Hellbat Cyclone trying to pull back. The tank's kind of covering. A lot of Hellbats go down, but as do a lot of Banelings. And I think this is a decent fight for GUMIHO once the tanks start shelling. The tanks do start getting some good shots, and he's going to start marching forward. 6 more Hellions building at a time. Reynor's Remax will be a lot quicker. He needs to keep Hellbats guarding the tanks. Uh-oh, Fungal lands! And Neural going down on a few of these Cyclones and a Banshee as well. Nicely done, which means, of course, he can deal with those. Cyclone does get a lock on, but it does get taken out by Reynor's own units as well. He's going to go for those Lings now. There's no Hellbats guarding the tanks. Big mistake here for GUMIHO. He should have been reinforcing with Hellions a lot quicker. Where are they? They're just now coming down. And that's where the Ling reinforce. Clearing the tanks is big. GUMIHO caught with his pants down. He bled out a few too many Hellbats in that first fight. Maybe he should have unsieged and pulled back a little bit, but he should have had Hellbats guarding those tanks. Now he's going to try to run forward again. Reynor says, thank you very much. See, you don't want to be ya. Neurals the Cyclones. GUMIHO taps out. Reynor just shut that down. GG, well played. Great play for Reynor. GUMIHO, maybe a little bit of an off day today, guys. It just feels like Reynor was all over this series from start to finish. And even though this one, the setup was okay, I do think those Hellbats overcommitted to that side. Like, if we watch that fight one more time, I think there's a world where this gets quite difficult for Reynor. Because 7 Queens not really going to help in the fight. 7 Infestors not really going to help in the fight once you're sieged and spread. But I think he needed more tanks further forward. Like, so my question is, what is he doing? Why is this tank running in there and dying? And he's got 3 tanks over here, but they're not even part of the push. So I don't know, guys. I got to look at this, and I've got to question GUMIHO's positioning. Like, if he was pushing this ridge, sure. But these 3 tanks are just not part of the fight. Okay, fair enough. Well, what about over here? Okay, I love these tanks. They're great. But, like, you should just be poking with your Cyclones and nothing else. Like 3 or 4 Cyclones, right? Instead, he kind of puts these Hellbats in the meat grinder. If he had those 3 tanks on the left, and a tank here, and a tank or 2 here, I think committing here this much is a little bit more viable. But as it is, a lot of his units just aren't there. The Banshee goes down. Rain is able to clear up all these Hellbats and Cyclones. And there's 2 tanks fighting. 1 tank is sieging up. The other tanks don't take part in this fight at all. This is just an overcommitment and a big weird misstep. I think GUMIHO was worried about Broodlords coming out. Felt like he needed to force a fight. This was not it. He has a ton more command centers coming up. He doesn't necessarily have to force a fight here. And you got to realize when you're up against Reynor, you usually have more time than you think, because Reynor very rarely transitions to late game. He's a lair tech god. He's not a guy who rushes broods. Him even going to Neuroparasite this early is actually odd for him. I've seen him play 30 minutes straight against Maru, never builds anything except Lings, Banes, Ravages, and he just keeps building those units and microing them really well. I don't think GUMIHO was on as much of a timer as he thought. Either way, Reynor, excellent play. Game 1 shutdown was absolutely mint. GG, well played.